everybody, I am in a brand new space with a brand new background because I just moved due to my growth mindset. Did somebody say growth mindset? That's funny because that's what we're talking about today. Hey, I'm Kelsey and welcome to Kelsey Joy Is, helping you cultivate a growth mindset. So if you have ever thought or said to yourself, I'm just not creative, I'm just not good at math, I just can't lose weight, I'm just not a runner, I am just not good with people, or my personal favorite that I think all the time, I'm just a procrastinator. I always wait until the night before. I've always done that. Like, I will only accomplish or I will only finish things I'm wanting to finish the night before. That's just how I am. That's how people in my family are. That's just how it's gonna be. If you have ever said or thought anything like that, then you, my friend, are human and have had a fixed mindset about something in your life. And that fixed mindset has probably inhibited you from being able to achieve your goals. You probably feel like there's something in your life that you could be doing better, that you're not. If you've ever had this feeling of, I know that there's more potential in me than I have actually been able to express, or I know that I could be doing more than I'm doing, or I know that I could be making a bigger difference. Like, you probably have something in your life that you have a fixed mindset in that is just getting in the way of that happening. I know I have definitely, and I still have a fixed mindset about a lot of things in my life, and when I learned about them, I was like, what? Like, number one, I didn't even know this was a thing, fixed mindset, growth mindset. Number two, I didn't even realize it was so important, and then when I did, and I learned the simple strategies to be able to have a growth mindset, I was like, oh my God, life changing. And literally, I will give you guys in this video an example of something in my life that improved drastically with fixed and growth mindset, and also provide you with 4 strategies to be able to cultivate a growth mindset. So to move from one area over to the other. So I keep talking about them. What are they actually? What actually is fixed mindset, growth mindset? You may have heard the terms circulating through the media or magazines or self-help books, because a lot of research has come out recently from this woman, Carol Dweck, who wrote this book called Mindsets, and she realized that there's something called a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and that a growth mindset is key to achieve what you're wanting to achieve, to be able to just do what you're wanting to be doing in life. And so a lot of like Olympic athletes and successful entrepreneurs and just people who are happy and thriving in their lives are adopting growth mindsets and having really good results. A fixed mindset I equate to a rock or rigid. And that's because you believe that your intelligence and your abilities are static. And so you may say to yourself, like, I'm just not good at math. And so you just think like, I can't ever get better. Even if I practice, it doesn't matter. And so you exist in the world in this way of trying to just like maintain status quo and being like, I'm not gonna do anything that would threaten my math abilities because I don't wanna look dumb. And what ultimately happens with that is things that would help you, like being able to practice or work with somebody who is really good at math. You don't end up seeking out those opportunities because you want to just like stay in your comfort zone because you think like nothing I do will matter, it's not going to get better. Okay, so a growth mindset is, I equate to Play-Doh and being like pliable and malleable. So you believe that, you know, your intelligence can be improved upon. So like maybe we're not all going to be Einstein, but with practice we can all get better at it, you know? So you think that you can be smarter, that you can, you know, be a runner one day, you can lose weight. With practice, it just takes that. And so what ends up happening with growth mindset is you do take on those experiences and those things that are going to help you, and you end up being able to reach your full potential. And I think an even easier way to understand the two is by actually looking at what a mindset is. So it all starts with a thought. So let's say you have a thought of, I'm not good enough. If you have that thought enough times, it turns into a belief. And so you actually believe, I'm not good enough. And one of my favorite things that my positive psychology facilitator, Lewis, shout out to Lewis, that he said our first weekend together was, a belief is a thought you think a lot. So the things you believe about yourself and the world around you, those are just had that thought enough times that you believe it. So you have a thought, turns into a belief, and then that belief actually creates a mindset or a patterned way of thinking. So you eventually, if you think I'm not good enough and you believe it, then you just like, your way of thinking is I'm not good enough. Finally leads to you just interacting with the world in a way of I'm not good enough. And that definitely hinders your ability to, be the best version of yourself and to show up in the world the way that you want to, which is what this whole Kelsey Joy Is space is about. It's like being able to do what you want to do and show up how you want to in the world. So that's why mindsets matter so much. It ultimately comes down to our thoughts, which create our beliefs, which lead to our mindsets, which, change how we interact with the world. So let me give you a personal example. I have always been a pretty good athlete. Like, I did soccer when I was younger and gymnastics, and I would play with my brother and his friends in the neighborhood, like basketball and baseball, and like I was pretty good. And although I ran in soccer, I was better at like running, sprinting, like fast, short distance running. I never did long distance running. I never thought I could. And so I would just say like, nah, I'm not a runner. And when people would ask me to go running and they were better than me, I'd be like, I'm not gonna go. I'll just go by myself. Because I just thought, I'm not a runner and this is gonna be so embarrassing. Like, I'm gonna have to ask them to stop and I'm not gonna be able to do it. And like, I would rather just run on my own than run with this person who's better than me. And that is a key indicator of fixed mindset, is when somebody is better than you at this thing and you're threatened by it. And so you retreat from that person. You're like, ugh, like I'm never gonna be like that. And so you don't want to be around them, because then them next to you is just going to be a clear comparison of like the fact that you suck, right? Growth mindset, which this is when I realized I had a fixed mindset, is I heard like a growth mindset person would see that person who's a better runner and be like, oh my gosh, I need to go running with you. Like, you're going to help me learn how to be a better runner. I'm going to be inspired by you. And I was like, what? I would never do that. And then that's when I was like, oh, I have a fixed mindset about running. So when I realized that, I decided, okay, I'm going to run a half marathon. I'm going to figure out how to be a long distance runner. And so I reached out to my good friend Erin, asked her for her training schedule, looked up training schedules online, and just like over time got so good that I completed 3 half marathons this year. And my last one, I actually finished in under 2 hours, which was my goal time. And that was all just because I changed my mindset about my abilities in running. That's the power of having a growth mindset. So there are 4 ways to be able to move from a place of thinking like I can't do this to being able to say like I can, I just need to practice. And it all comes down to one main concept: process. So what do I mean by that? Well, the first way to focus on process is by using the word yet. So anytime you use the phrase I can't, so I can't run, I can't do math, I can't make my sales quota, I can't present in front of people, whatever it is for you, just add the word yet to that sentence. So I can't do math yet, I can't run yet, I can't meet my sales quota yet, I can't present in front of people yet. By adding the word yet to the end of the sentence, it makes you focus on, well, what could I do? Like, what would it take for me to be able to meet my sales quota? And this is really great to use with kids. If you either have kids or work with kids, if you hear them saying I can't statements, just say to them, well, maybe you can't do it yet, but what would it take to get there? And you can say that same thing to yourself, or if you have employees you work with or manage, like it works with everybody. So that's number 1. Second way to focus on process is by just focusing on little actionable steps you can do daily instead of the end goal. So for a half marathon, if I had just said, I can only run 10 minutes, I can't run a half marathon, I would have just stopped. But instead, if you focus on, okay, what can I do today? What's one thing I can do that will bring me one step closer to being the runner I want to be? So it's going for a run, it's eating healthy, it's staying hydrated, whatever that little thing is you can do today. And then the next day, focus on it that day. And it doesn't seem so overwhelming, and it helps you just focus on the process instead of that end result, which you'll ultimately get to if you keep doing those little things every day. The third thing to do is to give people process praise versus person praise. So having a fixed mindset comes from somewhere. There may have been an adult in your life, like a teacher or a parent or a grandparent or somebody who cultivated a fixed mindset in you. So like one of my friends has a daughter, and she's told me that the daughter's grandparents or her parents have said to the daughter, like, girls just aren't good at math, so you're not good at math. If that little girl believes that, she's gonna have a fixed mindset about math. And that's where fixed mindsets come from. There's something in your life that told you like this, you're either good at this or you're not, or that person's a bad person or they're not, or that person's a great person or they're not. So what person praise is, let's say you work with somebody who gives a killer presentation and you say to them like, oh my God, John, you rocked that presentation. You're such a good presenter. I wish I could be like you. Like, great job. That's person praise because you just basically said you're a great presenter, which implies that they're a great presenter and like other people are not or can't be. If you give process praise, it looks more like, hey John, wow, I was so impressed with your presentation today. Like, you were able to be succinct with what you're saying, but still give details and not ramble. Like, your tone of voice was really good. Your pace was good. It was nice and slow for people. You answered their questions with patience. Like, that's process praise. So actually, you were saying, here are the things you did that made you a great presenter. And that does two things. Number one, it says that if anybody does those things, they can be a great presenter too. And for John, the person that's receiving that praise, it feels so much better to receive process praise over person praise. It just seems more meaningful. Like, you feel like that person actually noticed the work that you put into it and the effort you put into it. Which brings us to the fourth strategy, which is focus on effort over outcome. So that's, if you do work with a team and let's say you do have sales quotas you have to hit, if you just focus on outcome and you're like, nope, you didn't hit your sales quotas, you're fired. A girl in my positive psychology group, that was her reality. That creates a really stressful environment and a lot of fear. And it just makes people like only focusing on the outcome and not the effort it takes to get to hit those sales quotas. And you want to focus on both, like not just on effort, because if you only focus on effort, you end up handing out a lot of participation trophies and an A for effort, which a lot of people are saying is why the millennials are so screwed up now. So you want to focus on both, but it's so many of us focus just on the outcome. So you can focus on the effort by telling more effort stories to your team, like, wow, I just heard about this other team who did this great thing. Or with your kids, notice the effort they're putting into something. Or if you see like a kid doing something you want your kid to do, focus on like pointing out the effort that kid's putting into it. Or with yourself, like when I did finish that half marathon, instead of just saying like, I did it, I hit my goal, and that's it. Like, if I reflect on, wow, look at all the effort that I had to put into actually making that happen, that definitely cultivates a growth mindset and just makes you feel so much more empowered and in control of your reality and like your ability to achieve your dreams. Those are the 4 areas. It all comes down to process. Say the word yet at the end of I can't sentences. Focus on the little things, the little actionable steps, that process over the end result. Giving people process praise over person praise, and then focusing on effort over outcome. So I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please mention them in the comments below, or if you have ideas for other videos, I would love to hear. And if there's an area you're cultivating a growth mindset in, please leave it in the comments below. What I suggest doing is just this week, think of something that you're wanting to improve on in your life, whether it's losing weight or waking up early in the morning or, cultivating stronger relationships with people around you. Just think maybe like, do you have a fixed mindset in that area? Because a lot of times when things aren't serving us in life, it comes down to having that fixed mindset. And just think about what of those 4 steps could you do this week to be able to cultivate a growth mindset. And be patient with yourself. We've had those thoughts for a long time, like your whole life maybe, that have led to those beliefs which have created that mindset. So it's gonna, be a process to get there, but you will get there, and I'm here for you along the way. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.